Okay, well, it's been an interesting few days, especially if you've got a plastic workshop, as I have. The weather was absolutely horrendous over the weekend. Started off sort of 40, 45 mile an hour winds, picking up to 50, just above 50 miles an hour. Incredibly windy. Didn't have much rain where I am, fortunately, but basically this whole workshop, I mean, it's heavy. It weighs about 70 kilos, the workshop itself, and then it comes with ground screws to secure it down. But I'm kind of on gravel, so I've got these like sandbags, so they've got a fair amount, probably, yeah, they're reasonably heavy to lift, sort of 15-ish kilos of sand in each, and I've got 4 of those because it's got like 4 intermediate poles, so there's 6 poles, you know, for the whole thing. So those 4 have got these sandbags on, and same on the other side. You can kind of see behind all the parts and stuff. So I've got 8 of those, and also like on the outside of here I've got concrete blocks, and then I've got sandbags here as well. I had to adjust these ones, but yeah, the wind literally lifted up the workshop. The prevailing wind direction is kind of that way here. I've got some shelter, so the kind of building goes to about here, and then this end, this about 5 foot or so, is really exposed from the sort of prevailing wind. And you can see here we've got like a wooden edging, and then it's into the ditch. It basically lifted up the workshop, pushed it that way, and it's pushed just past that point there. The next bit of wooden edging has just been wiped out, broken, and I literally had to come in and hoof the workshop back into place, move all these things over. I've got my sort of consumable storage over there. I had to move that out of the way and just hoof the workshop back again. And in the end, then I actually got my tow rope, and I literally tied the frame onto this crash bar. Fortunately, I own this car, so there's not risk to a customer's car. But yeah, I tied the workshop down, and the wind was howling through. Hence, I've got some sandbags there that were on the floor, but the wind just kept lifting this up. So I put some ramps there just to give the wind somewhere to go. But yeah, wow, that was kind of interesting. I was hoping to do a bit of work on the car over the weekend, but that didn't happen. So, but here we are. Right, so now we can crack on with it. So what have we got left to do? So this air dam I've just put on. So real final steps now, to be honest. So down the back here, so here we've got, this is the BMS cable for the battery and the main battery power cable, orange cable. So if you can see, and the light's not amazing, but oh, there we go. So you can see there's 2 nuts there, and then there's a little, so that bracket, ooh, yeah, is meant to be on that nut for the BMS cable, and then that is the main battery high voltage cable, which has just gone out of focus. There we are. It fits on there, so they need putting in place. And then there's another bracket just in front of the battery that holds them on as well. And also this BMS cable's got a little bolt on the back of the motor as well to hold it in place. So that all needs tidying up. We've got the motor cooling fan fits on there. We've obviously got the headlights and bumper to do. We've got arch liners to do. We've got under trays to do. We've got the scuttle panel, so there's 2 parts to that. It's kind of the underneath bit that slots in, and then the brake fluid reservoir bolts onto that. And then there's the top sort of scuttle bit and the wipers and foam trims and stuff. Obviously wheels, I need to do the tracking, and it's due for an MOT tomorrow. So basically, this car's getting fixed today, and it might be a late night. There's not too much there, it just depends what happens with other things that are going on today. I've got some child-related things to sort out. But yeah, it's got to get fixed, so it might be a late one, but yeah, probably just with a bit of a road test and sort of doing the tracking and things like that. But we shall see. So I'm going to crack on, and I'll catch you in a bit. All right, cheers. Okay, we're getting somewhere. Let me glove. Yeah, so we've got headlights on. I've got 2 of the under trays on. It's got 3 under trays on a ZE, and I've got the front one remaining. Obviously got the bumper left, front arch liners and wheels, and that is it. Then we get this outside and yeah, just see how it runs basically, because we've done quite a lot of work on this car. We've obviously fitted new bearings in the motor, so stripped the whole motor apart and done those bearings, which is quite a tricky job. Done it a few times, but it is quite involved. Didn't go quite as well as on other vehicles, but we shall see. We've swapped the reduction gear as well because that was noisy, and on the steering rack, so we're going to hope there's no knocks, because we could have some fun with the MOT otherwise. So Yeah, under trays on the Zoe are quite interesting. So we've got, if we just put that lamp on. So where are we? So there's one, that metal one that covers up the sort of battery connectors. So obviously make that a little bit stronger to keep that safe. And then there's this plastic one that kind of with wings that goes in front of that one. And then there's the larger one. So this is the one that fits under the sort of engine bay, and then that's the motor output cooling fan. That's where the duct goes through, which comes out the back of the motor. So that's that one, that pops out through that slot. So I have to say, if you're doing a project, anything big, I mean, I always try, if possible, to put bolts back in holes. So you might have seen, so like these bolts were in there. So yeah, okay, when you're then putting it back together, you have to sort of undo them to put it back in again. But there's no debate as to which bolt it was. And you're going to end up with a lot of bolts if you do a project like this, and you're just taking them out and, you know, chucking them over to the side sort of thing. So I always keep my bolts in tubs. It's obviously got the road wheel bolts there. This is front under tray. I know it says bumper on it, but I've reused this tub. And then this is like the arch liner, yeah, front arch liner, so it screws onto the bumper and then it pops in. So yeah, so that's a few of those, and we're going to get that back together and see how we go. So yeah, hopefully shortly we'll be driving this car and see what happens. All right, catch you in a bit. Well, exciting news, the pots are back on the shelf empty because the car looks like this. If I can step back. So yeah, we are back together. This is cool. So all under trays are on, everything is on basically. So the next job is to drop the car, torque up the wheels, and then go for a little drive. So it's not tracked other than roughly. So it's not going to be perfect, but we just want to see if there's any noise, any knocks over the bumps, that kind of thing. It looks like that one's going this way slightly, but not too bad. We shall see when we get the wheels down, double check the tracking and everything. But yeah, test drive, short test drive first, see if it's making any noises. Whew. I always get a little bit nervous at this point, but yes, we shall see. All right, cool, catch you in a bit. Okay, so here we go. We're gonna fire it up, back it out of the workshop, and see what it sounds like. Right, the wipers seem to be on. Let's just knock them off. That mirror is completely in the wrong place. Sorry. To see where I'm going. I think we've got one mirror folded in and one not folded in. Oh, we've got one mirror stuck. Right. One moment. I'm just going to sort my mirror out. Okay, the mirror issue is resolved. I'm just going to put it in reverse and swap hands. We're going on a private road, so that's okay. Well, other than the brakes, so far it doesn't sound too good. I've just got another car behind me. So we're going to have to just do a little forwardsy backwards, but I want to do some speed really and see. Try not to run over a pallet. Right. Yeah, we'll be alright. Right, just getting out up here. We can. Well, it sounds alright so far. No noise at all from the motor, which is really good. So whether that front sort of suspension-y knock's gone, I'm just going to turn off the pedestrian thingy so that any noise we hear is the motor. Yeah, no noise at all from the motor. Can't hear anything from the front suspension. Tracking is miles out. That's not a surprise. But yeah, that sounds, well, sound of silence, pretty much. Just gotta use my other hand. One moment. Just go backwards. Oh, there's a truck parked halfway there, right at the end of the lane. Right. Let's go back up and see how we go. sounds pretty good to me. Can't hear any bumps, any knocks over the bumps. Oh, I think we're good. I think. Yeah, man. Sounds good to me. Well, it sounds fantastic. Oh, the Mrs. Advent calendar's just fallen off the shelf where I hid it. Right, fantastic. Well, that sounds, well, it sounds brilliant because it's not making a noise at all. So there was no knocks. The front suspension had a lot of knocks. I suspected that was a steering rack. You could really feel it through the steering. So that does sound like that's the case. And the motor is absolutely silent. And the reduction gear is silent, which is a fantastic, massive relief. You can sort of spin it, you know, when you start it up. But, yeah, you can't, you know, you're just turning the motor slowly. You don't know really if it's any good, really. I mean, that test drive really doesn't tell us if it's perfect, but sort of so far so good. So I am happy with that. I'm going to do the tracking, and basically it's going for MOT tomorrow. And yeah, we shall see what happens. So yeah, so far so good. I think this car will live to fight another day. All right, cool. We'll catch you later. Cheers.